What happens when a hosting provider installs an AI plugin on your WordPress website? Do you know what your liabilities are? Do you know what your legal exposures are when that happens? There's a lot to unpack in today's episode. Stay tuned and we'll get into it.
Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder.
Rise and Shine is your dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 726. It is Mindset Monday. We're going to be talking about what SiteGround did with this latest release of WordPress 7.0, what it means for us as business owners and the things that we need to think about and things that we can do when these sorts of situations occur. And I don't want to sort of spoil it until I get into it because it's a big one. Now, I'm going to try my hardest not to rant on this one. Again, there's lots of rant-worthy topics, but rants don't actually help us understand how we can address them for ourselves and how we can limit liability and risk and all of those things. Now, this is a mindset episode, so whilst I'll be talking about the technicalities of things, I really want to talk about the business approach and the things that we as business owners need to consider. So let me get into it. Now, before I get into it, I've just come off of a really huge weekend helping out with a golf club, and it's been a big weekend with comps and stuff, so I'm a little tired. If I mess up something, I am sorry. If it's not as good as other episodes, I am sorry. Not a little sorry, I am sorry. Anyway, let's get into it. WordPress 7 launched on May 20th, 2026, so not long ago. I'm recording this on the 7th of June. You'll be watching it on the 8th of June, or it'll release on the 8th of June, so not so long ago. Now, WordPress 7 had or has what we call a connectors screen under settings. And what that is that's a way of connecting your site or letting AI-aware plugins connect to the different AIs that are out there, OpenAI, Anthropic, Claude, Google Gemini. Now, for the way it's been implemented in WordPress, it's a socket, if you like. It's there and you can just take your AI engine and plug it in. It's not quite as easy as that. You choose your provider, install their connector plugin, add your API key, configure it, and you can then go and use your AI of choice. Now, the official WordPress AI plugin does things like adds features to the editor, title generation, excerpt generation, alt text, content summarization, image generation, review notes for accessibility, readability, and SEO. Okay, so you've got a whole heap of things you can use your AI engine to do when you're managing your WordPress site. WordPress built this as opt-in infrastructure. You get to decide if and when and how to use the AI engines on your site, and that's by design. All right, so now when people say WordPress is AI aware, that's what it means. Now, you can do a whole heap of things. You can also do things like, upgrade all your plugins, tell your AI chatbot, whatever it is, go and upgrade my plugins, and it will go and upgrade your plugins. Cool. Maybe it's useful. I am going to just hold my opinion on that until I can look into that a little deeper. It's what SiteGround actually did that has made me stop, and I know it's made a lot of developers and a lot of site owners stop and think about it. SiteGround decided that they were going to build their own AI agent plugin. Great. They can have that. But they force installed it on over 1 million customer sites alongside the WordPress 7.0 update. Now, how did they do that? It's their hosting infrastructure. SiteGround is a hosting provider. Among other things, it's a hosting provider. That's where it started out. And it created its own AI agent plugin and it force installed it on their client sites. They pre-configured the WordPress websites that they installed it on with them as the default AI connector. There were no other providers selected. SiteGround's was already wired in, the plugin already activated and tucked away at the bottom of the admin sidebar where you're least likely to notice it. So that, from what I can understand, is they rewired the way that connector stuff works. I haven't looked into it in any great detail, like the visuals of it, but to be able to disable SiteGround as the AI provider, it's buried in their own plugin settings, not on the WordPress connector screen where you'd intuitively look and where the others are. So the off switch isn't where WordPress put the controls, it's where SiteGround decided to move them to. They've installed their own AI agent on your site, enabled it, made it go. And this isn't just an editor helper either. It's a chat interface that can create and delete posts and pages, install and remove plugins and themes, add and delete users, including admins, manage WooCommerce products, pricing and orders, update site settings, manage the media library, and run bulk operations across connected sites. And they turn this on by default. You get 20,000 free tokens per month, which sounds like a lot, right? But those tokens that SiteGround give you aren't just for the WordPress plugin. They're shared across the entire SiteGround's ecosystem, AI ecosystem, email marketing, website builder, e-commerce tools. If you're using any SiteGround product with AI baked in, those tokens drain from the same pool, even if you've never opened the WordPress plugin. Now, just on that particular note, SiteGround's own knowledge base has an article titled, "I've never used AI Studio, but my tokens have decreased." Why? Because tokens are getting consumed across products you may not even realize have AI in them. Take that as you will. The idea is that when that 20,000 tokens run out, and it runs out fast because every prompt burns input and output tokens. So it's not just, one token per query. It could be multiple tokens per query. Multi-step agent tasks use significantly more tokens. There's a $10 a month upgrade for 100,000 tokens waiting for you. I'm going to touch on that one in just a moment. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes, making sure I get everything right here. So the idea here, as far as I can see, well, let me just finish what SiteGround's defense to all of this was. Most users would never complete the multi-step setup, so they removed the friction. Their email notification was sent out on a Friday. It was a promotional email, or it read like a promotional email, and multiple users said they skimmed it and ignored it. It's not great. It's not great. So from what I can see here, SiteGround went, oh, we've got this AI capability. How about we make this easy for users? And then I'll get to it. And we'll install our own thingy that uses our own AI engine. And then when they run out of tokens, we'll be able to upsell them our own service. And we'll just force install it on their sites. And they can start using it. And they might even just start using it because they don't even realize that that's what's gone on. It's not great, okay? It's not great. Just because someone might not do it doesn't mean that you should be doing it for them. This is one of the reasons I want to have this episode. I want to try not to rant on it. Now, the result of all of this is that plugin's got a 1.1 star rating on WordPress.org. There are 42 one-star reviews against a single 5-star. The reviews aren't about bugs. They are about trust. That's the key. That's one of the things that I want to discuss here. Now, before I get into more on that, let's talk about how these AI queries work on WordPress. I've got to go back up on my notes here because my notes are a little out of order. Every prompt you send to the AI sends site context to it. The WordPress version, active plugins, theme info, and that all sends that to, in this case, SiteGround's external AI Studio service, which then routes it through ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Imagine, and others. Okay, so you're taking a whole heap of data and sending it to an AI engine that then has to go through and process it. That's one reason that tokens get used up pretty quick as well. It's not just that it's more than one query. It's multiple queries on a huge data set, or potentially a huge data set. Now, going through this a little further, one agency owner has said, yeah, I just discovered today that you auto-installed this potential nightmare scenario for all our client sites. Another reported their WooCommerce site was throwing errors that took hours of troubleshooting because tracing the problem to a plugin they didn't know they had installed was impossible because they didn't know that plugin was installed. What does this mean? It means that WordPress built a door, and essentially SiteGround walked through it on behalf of every customer without asking, moved in, set up shop, and is asking to charge rent. Now, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to go and upgrade to that $10 a month plan. But it's kind of like, well, I'm here and pay me $10. I'm here, pay me $10. I don't get it. All right. That's the first part of it, is you went and installed, or they went and installed a plugin without asking, essentially without telling. And I'm sending out an email on a Friday saying we're going to do this thing, when it reads like a promotional email, is really not the best way of handling this. And I think it's pretty much they sent it out on the Friday and then went and did it. Not they sent it out on the Friday, waited a bit, and then went and did it. They sent it out on a Friday and went and did it basically the next week. But there's more to it than that. This creates a legal exposure for site owners, and it's something that I didn't realize until I started digging into this episode to try and work out where all the issues were, where were all my touch points on it. A WooCommerce site holds customers' data, names, addresses, order histories, payment records. Under the GDPR, that's classed as personal data. Under other privacy laws, it's still protected data. It's personally identifiable information. The site owner is the one accountable for how it's collected, processed, and protected. This plugin sends the site context to SiteGround's external AI studio service, which then routes it through all those engines that I mentioned, and the customer data is leaving your platform. It may even be crossing international borders to third-party AI providers. Now, this is something I have spoken about a number of times with AI and what information you're feeding into it. You might not know which country the data is actually being processed in when you send the information out. You are sending out you might be sending out personally identifiable information on a system where you may not understand what the privacy implications are, or who owns the data, or where that data, how that data is being stored, used, processed. You don't even know if it's crossing international borders. So I'm in Australia. I could be using an AI engine that sends it to the US, or it sends it to the UK. That then means that there is different protections and different access levels to that data depending on the country that it lands in. It's not great. And as people who are responsible for that data, we are personally responsible for that data. Our business is responsible for that data. We need to know these things. Now, even if the AI provider claims not to store or train on inputs, it doesn't absolve us as the site owners. Under GDPR, the California Act, and the Australia Privacy Act, CAN-SPAM, we're still responsible for what happens to that data once it leaves our site. It's our data. It's our site. The data is collected by us because our site is collecting it. We're using a process that sends it out. Now, I will be fair. There's not enough public detail to know exactly what WooCommerce customer, order, or product data might be included in AI prompts, responses, logs, chat history, or third-party model processing. But under the GDPR, uncertainty isn't treated as a grey area. It's treated as non-compliant. There's this saying, ignorance is no defence under the law. Ignorance is no defence under the law. Data processing agreements must be explicitly activated and not just assumed. Most WordPress AI plugins are quietly violating the GDPR right now through missing data processing agreements, impossible erasure requests, and unlawful cross-border transfers. Now, if you're sort of thinking, oh, it's fine, it's just one of those things. The GDPR fines alone can run up to 20 million euros or 4% of global revenues. Small business can't afford anything near that. Now, what does that mean though? Why am I bringing all of this up? SiteGround went and installed a plugin that we didn't choose, the site owner didn't choose, the site owner didn't consent to. They might even know it's there. But legally, it's their problem because the GDPR and other privacy laws holds the data controller accountable regardless of how that exposure was created. SiteGround created a potential liability and left it on the site owner's doorstep. And that site owner is now potentially non-compliant with privacy laws because of a decision someone else made about their property. Alrighty, so that's SiteGround. I'm just going to move on because this isn't a one-off thing. Now, this is a one-off. Well, it's not a one-off thing. This is the most recent thing. It is the most recent thing, and I think it's the first AI issue that I've run up against with WordPress. Not necessarily hosting providers, but specifically a hosting provider. But SiteGround aren't the only hosting provider that has done something similar. It's kind of industry behavior, and it's something that has worried me for a long time. It is one reason why I went and created my own hosting company, and I ask my clients to host with me. And here's why. GoDaddy, who they're not my favorite hosting provider. They haven't been for a very long time. They use something called real user metrics. And that is a JavaScript that's injected at server level into customer sites to track visitor connection time and page load. There's no there's no dashboard toggle. There's no prior notification. Some sites got broken, and it's not a plugin that you can see and manage. It is code injected at the server level. Kinsta, another hosting provider, has a must-use plugin, and that handles caching and CDN. It is required by Kinsta. If you go to Kinsta to host, you must use their caching and their CDN. It can't be removed. It's auto-installed and it's auto-updated. It does a defined job, but it still operates on the we decide what's on your site kind of attitude from people. Bluehost and HostGator, which are now Newfold Digital, so they must have been picked up by a private equity firm or a acquisition firm. They pre-install their own branded plugins for control panel integration, caching, and performance. That ties site owners deeper into their ecosystem, and it makes migration harder. Going back to SiteGround, their own speed optimizer and security optimizer are pre-installed on all new WordPress sites. Now, these are probably more defensible because they're tightly integrated with the server infrastructure. They are also security related, and I can get a hosting provider wanting to limit their liability in that respect. But the AI plugin is the outlier because it's a commercial product, not an infrastructure product. It sits on top of everything. It's not needed. It was just decided that we're just going to install it for you. What's the other ones? Oh, well, we've spoken recently about Google reCAPTCHA. That started as bot protection. Now it scores visitors, tracks behavior across sites, and requires a Google account. That went from a lock on the door to surveillance stress to security pretty quickly, didn't it? And if I want to really get into it, because of all of these a lot of these hosting providers install their own caching plugins to work with their infrastructure, they can cause real problems still, and we have seen it. We do see it. They can, if they're misconfigured or not configured well, they can slow sites down. They can conflict with each other. These are the main concern. These are the main cause of my site isn't showing changes. Yeah, I've made these changes. Why are they not showing up? And sometimes you can end up with multiple caching layers fighting each other. And it's one of the most common site issues. Most site owners don't even realize that the host one exists. And the irony of it is that a performance plugin that is supposed to improve performance is actually degrading performance. I'm going to talk a little bit about the security ones. Now, there's a security argument, of course, for intervening on shared infrastructure. It is valid for actual security, patching vulnerabilities, blocking exploits, but it's being borrowed to justify things that have nothing to do with security. And honestly, it leaves me with a really bad feeling. Why? Why does it leave me with a really bad feeling? All right, my principle on all of this. Informed adults get to make their own decisions about their own businesses. There is a difference between informing someone and deciding for them. You can educate, advise, recommend, and warn, but once someone has the information, the decision in what they do is theirs. They're a responsible adult running a business. Removing their ability to choose isn't protection, it's paternalism or maternalism. And when the thing being installed has a paid upgrade path or sends data to external services, it's not even paternalism. It's a commercial decision made about your property without your consent. Well, let me give you some examples here. You can tell someone the stove is hot. You can warn them. You can educate them. You can put a sign on it. But you don't get to weld the oven shut because they might burn themselves. You don't get to hold them back because they might touch the oven. It's their decision at that point. We emailed you, or it was in the terms isn't consent. It really is just a legal shield. Consent means you understood what was happening. You had a genuine choice to say no, and the default was to do nothing until you said yes. Now, I'm pretty certain that you already apply this principle in your own businesses. You inform your clients, you make recommendations, you provide advice, but you don't override and you don't get to sneak changes into a client's project or services without them saying yes. Paying for a service doesn't mean you've handed over control. I think we need to hold these companies that we pay money to the same standard we hold ourselves to. When someone takes away a choice from you for your own good, I think it's time we start to actually ask who it's good for. All right. I didn't want it to be a rant one. I didn't want to bash down and punch down on these companies. These companies do fantastic jobs. They have built these companies up. They do provide good services. I want to say that. These are not companies that I will do business with because they take my choice away. They don't give me the information and say, where do you want to go? Or let's get take this to your tech people and make an informed decision. You are told, well, you're using our infrastructure. You just have to use our stuff. The AI one is a real worry to me because we don't understand enough about it. There's very little information available about it. We know that it's sending data out to these AI engines. We're really not certain what it's sending out. If you were to say, here's a great example, if you were to use that AI option that SiteGround put in place and say, analyze all my orders, give me a list of all my customers, I want their addresses and their phone numbers, we know that data is going to leave your site, go to an AI cloud service somewhere, but we don't know where. We don't know if it's being stored. We don't know how it's being stored. We don't know if they're using that information for their own prompt training or their own AI training. It's a real concern to me. I want you guys to think about that. I want you guys to think about which services am I using? Which providers am I using? Am I happy with this? I've moved people away from a number of platforms, services like this. Like I said, I run my own hosting company because I got sick and tired of logging in and going, you've changed my settings again. You've installed something else on my site. You've done this. This is now conflicting with this other thing that I'm doing, or you've changed the fundamental way something is working and it's broken my process. Now, that doesn't mean to say, and I'm going to be quite honest here, that doesn't mean to say that I don't have a security plugin that I will put on your sites if you come across to my hosting provider. To me, it's a hosting provider. I do. But I tell you about it and I explain how it works and I explain why I do it. And if you say to me, Charly, we don't want it, I'll say, fine, we can take it off, but you're losing this level of protection. And it's now your responsibility to make sure that if anything happens, that's on you, not on me, because you're taking the ability for me to protect you away. That's fine. I'm good with that. You need to be good with it too. Anyway, guys, I don't want to rant on it. I don't want to labor the point. I did want to raise the issue. I do want the mindset to start to get to what am I paying for? What are they doing with my infrastructure? Are they actually pushing me to do things or pushing things on me that I don't actually need and I don't know how they work and I don't know what liability they're introducing for me? Let me know in the comments how you feel about this, what you think about it. Is it raising concerns for you? Maybe it's all okay. Maybe it is all okay. And we can just put the tick in the box and say, that's fine. We now understand what our risk is. We understand what our mitigation is. Our risk profile is something or our risk budget is something we're prepared to eat. Or our risk this is within our risk appetite, what we're prepared to eat. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. If it was useful, if the episode was useful, please do give it a like and maybe share it with a friend, share it with people, do something. Please, that would be lovely. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and ring that notification bell. And if you need help, you want to talk through implications of like this, you just want some coaching on it, if you need need help, I am a tech wrangler. I am a tech wrangler. I told you it's been a long weekend. I'm a tech wrangler. I will try and make this clearer for you. We can talk through what the implications are. We can talk through whether we want to keep it on, what you might want to do with it. I can give you information that you can make informed decisions with. I can fix problems for you too. If you do need help, I do have a free 30-minute breakthrough session. It's one per person per company. If you would like that, go to askcharlyleetham.com, click the bright pink button in the top right-hand corner, and that will set you up an appointment with me. If you've used your breakthrough session and you still want to keep working with me, I would love to work with you. Get in touch. I've got a range of ways we can work together and we'll find the way that works best for both of us. All right, guys, that's it for today. I will be back on Wednesday with a walkthrough Wednesday. Until then, stay safe and make really good, informed decisions. Bye.
Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.